we all have to understand that the real truth, the bigger truths, the divine truths of life, behind all of creation, etc., are not capable to be spoken in human language at all. They go beyond the limitations of language. So videos like mine are only trying to hint at elements of this greater truth, but they do not contain the entire truth. So today I just wanted to share a little insight again with you that may or may not help you on your journey, because it depends on many factors ultimately, but let's just say that sometimes people tell me something that they're convinced of is the truth and I might not agree. And then other times that same person might say something else and then I'm like, yeah, I agree with that though. And I know it's the same with what I share. It's like some people will agree with this, others will think, nah, I don't agree with this at all. And at the end of the day, that's alright, because ultimately there's like an infinite amount of perceptions, directions you can look at the same truth. Because that is what infinity is all about as well. However, at looking at the truth, we will find similar elements all over the place. So that is how we can certainly know there's truth to what someone is saying, is that it does relate to some other, perhaps ancient religious text in a way. So God or source consciousness is not bound by karma. It is beyond karma, and since I am a divine spark, you are a divine spark of this source, then you are essentially beyond karma. And karma is therefore a religious creation from the East that is again bound to trap people into servitude or to keep them worried over what they did or didn't do right as a mere human being, which was just a temporary expression, an experience anyway. So we gotta break free and think for ourselves on these things, to see the absurdity and fear-mongering hidden within all these religious concepts out there. In Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and many others. They're all based on these wild ideas of extreme punishment if you misbehave, or of great rewards if you somehow behave. All as a mere human being, which you never were to begin with. You are infinite awareness having this human experience. So instead of being locked into the idea of being a human being that has to behave in a certain way in order to hopefully not be punished, you should go to your true essence, which is eternal. And that is what all these religions try to also reveal, but it's completely invaded by additional nonsense over the centuries that only confuse the mind. At its core, all religions teach you that you are infinite, and it is the goal as a human to remember this truth so that all these other limiting ideas and fears fall away. The true nature remains infinite awareness, infinite consciousness, having an infinity of experiences open to it, and to worry over this tiny fraction called human life and feeling bound down by karmic concepts just keeps you stuck in an illusion that is not letting you fully know and experience your own infinite nature as a divine spark of God. Now, I know some people might become very upset about the words I just spoke, and it is fine. I am not interested in sharing words in the hope it will only comfort people. I am mostly trying to convey the total freedom that is in store for your own true nature of eternal consciousness once you drop all the limited beliefs put into your mind due to religious dogma. Once you can let go of it all and stop all the confusion that happens otherwise, you will be able to explore and experience much more of your own infinite nature. O children of eternal bliss, that's what you are. Remember who you really are. Remember the freedom that was given to you as the offspring of God. How can you embrace and experience your own infinite nature as long as your mind limits yourself by religious views? Free yourself, think for yourself, make up your mind on your own, let all else go. The only reason we ever hurt others, hurt ourselves, do evil is because of not remembering who we really are. Once you remember your true eternal nature, all evil falls away from your heart at once. Then remain in that freedom and don't let the world drag you back into its limitations. Forget about the past. Forget most of what you were taught about yourself as a human being and embrace the infinity that lies before you. Have fun with it. Now you may be wondering, how do I know if I'm becoming aware of my eternal nature? It's not an intellectual thing. It's a spiritual thing. You will recognize it by the bliss that starts to unleash from your heart. It is no mere happiness or joy. It is greater than that, beyond words. But it feels so great, I can tell you that much. Once you truly let go of all the limiting ideas that have been holding down your true infinite nature, bliss starts to emerge from the depths of your being. It is absolutely wonderful. By then, it's no longer a matter of worrying whether you go to heaven or hell, obsessively following religious ideas, hoping you are doing the right thing, this and that, for you are melting together with the divine, the eternal nature of God, the source of consciousness. Now, with all this, you should also remember that as you find this bliss arise within yourself, one thing that may happen initially is that as you experience it, it also might fizzle out. It might fade away slowly but surely. Perhaps after you went to sleep, or perhaps in general it just fades away. Now understand the reason why it fades away again is because old concepts are trying to limit your mind, your consciousness all over again. So after sleep, for example, you may wake up thinking of yourself as a human being all over again, forgetting temporarily that you are infinite awareness. But as you learn to embrace this infinity, this infinite nature that you really are, you will experience the bliss more and more rise up from the depths of your being. Because that part of who you really are actually is total freedom, and that feels so good, so freeing. Therefore, bliss arises as you identify and recognize your true nature. So you have to see it like this, that if it fades away, don't be worried and try not to be confused, because it took me 12 years of studying with my initial experience into bliss to figure out what the heck has happened. It felt so great, but I had no words for it, and I didn't understand it, and nobody else could tell me around me physically in that time. No person I've known had the experience ever in their lives, but by now I know. The secret to finding bliss is by letting go of everything that you thought you were and simply zooming in on the very true nature of yourself, which is infinite awareness, infinite consciousness, that is not tied to any of these limiting beliefs that you thought you were. So once you can break free from that, then bliss automatically starts to arise, because bliss is your true nature. And it has also been said that bliss is the nature of God. So it is therefore a sign that you are melting together with God. It is once you experience bliss that you no longer feel the need to do evil, because from a state of bliss you just can't help but want to express goodness, to think goodness, to see goodness everywhere, no matter what a person does, because you are one with God in that essence, in that sense. It takes some contemplation perhaps, but once you realize this bliss within yourself, you will be able to confirm this by your own experience, that once it arises within you, all the negatives, all the evil, all the darkness melts away instantly, right then and there. And yes, it's gonna feel so great to reunite with the divine.